I used to think I had the perfect apartment. It was quiet, the rent was reasonable, and my neighbors mostly kept to themselves. At least, that's what I thought at first. The weirdness started subtly with a guy in 3B, Mr. Henderson. He was a retired accountant, or so he told me once. We'd run into each other in the hallway, exchanging pleasantries. "Off to work again, huh?" he'd say with a smile. "Leaving a bit earlier today." Or, "Looks like you forgot your umbrella. It's supposed to rain around 3. At first, I just thought he was observant, but then it got specific. "That new coffee you're trying smells strong," he'd comment, even though I'd bought the beans just an hour before. He knew when I had groceries delivered, what time I usually went for a run, and even once asked if my friend who visited on Tuesday was feeling better. I'd only mentioned her being sick in a phone call inside my own apartment. I never confronted him. How do you ask someone to stop knowing things about you? So I just started avoiding him, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, and making my comings and goings as unpredictable as possible. It didn't seem to make a difference. He always seemed to know. At first, I just thought he was observant, but then it got specific. "That new coffee you're trying smells strong," he'd comment, even though I'd bought the beans just an hour before. He knew when I had groceries delivered, what time I usually went for a run, and even once asked if my friend who visited on Tuesday was feeling better. I'd only mentioned her being sick in a phone call inside my own apartment. I never confronted him. How do you ask someone to stop knowing things about you? So I just started avoiding him, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, and making my comings and goings as unpredictable as possible. It didn't seem to make a difference. He always seemed to know. Then there was the apartment directly across from mine, for C. It was supposed to be empty. The landlord told me the previous tenant moved out months ago and they were renovating it, but I constantly heard sounds from inside. Not loud noises, just faint, everyday things. The soft click of a light switch, the muffled sound of a chair scooting across a wooden floor, the faint murmur of a television. Sometimes, late at night, I'd see a sliver of light under the door, which would vanish if I got too close. I started leaving a tiny piece of tape on the door frame, just to see if it would be broken. It always was. One day, I finally worked up the courage to ask the building manager about it. He looked at me, confused. "Apartment 4C. It's completely empty. Gutted. There isn't even electricity running to that unit right now." He unlocked the door to show me. He was right. The apartment was a hollow shell of dust and bare wires. But that night, I heard it again, the faint, unmistakable sound of someone turning a page in a book. The woman in 5A was another story. Her name was Clara. Her lights were on 24/7. I mean, literally, every single hour of every single day. My bedroom window faced her living room, and no matter when I woke up, be it 3 a.m. for a glass of water or 6 a.m. for work, her lamp was on. I'd see her shadow moving around, sometimes just sitting in a chair, perfectly still, for hours. I never saw her leave the building, not once. Packages would pile up outside her door for days before they'd suddenly vanish overnight. One evening, during a building-wide power outage, the entire block went dark. Every window was a black square, except for one, hers. A single, soft, yellow light glowed from her apartment, as if nothing had happened. The power was out for 3 hours. Her light never flickered. The strangest of them all was Ben, from the first floor. We very what? ED. Cold friendly. We'd grab a beer sometimes after work, talked about sports, complained about the landlord. We'd known each other for about a year. One Saturday, I saw him at the grocery store. I walked up to him and said, "Hey Ben, fancy seeing you here." He turned and just stared at me. His expression was completely blank. There was zero recognition in his eyes. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice flat and polite. "Do I know you?" I was stunned. I thought he was joking. I laughed and said, "Come on, Ben, it's me, from the apartment building." He just shook his head slowly. "You must have me mistaken for someone else." He then turned his cart and walked away, leaving me standing there in the aisle. The next day, I saw him in the lobby. I tried to catch his eye, but he looked straight through me, as if I were a ghost. He never acknowledged me again. It was like our entire friendship had been erased from his memory, but not from mine. I still live here. Nothing has ever been resolved. Mr. Henderson still greets me with unsettlingly accurate observations. I still hear noises from the empty apartment across the hall. Clara's light is still on, and every time I pass Ben, I'm just a stranger he's never met. There are no monsters here, no ghosts in the walls. There are only people. And I think that's the most terrifying part. You never really know who you're living next to. Thanks for listening.